everyone. We will start our miniature painting journey with an essential step, applying the black primer. This isn't just a routine, it's the key to ensuring our paint adheres well and our details stand out. Let's start working on the tunic. We mix 40% black with 60% flat earth, making sure we cover all the areas with this color, which will act as our darkest shadow. We will now start building some of the highlights with flat earth. But there's a twist. Instead of the traditional brush strokes, we'll be stippling. This technique will give us the textured appearance of fabric, adding depth and realism to our piece. By focusing on the higher areas, we're bringing out the folds and contours, adding a natural look to the tunic. For the finer details and folds, we use the brush's edge for precision. This method allows us to achieve uniform lines and really bring out the sharpness of the miniature's clothing. Next, we tackle the cloak using burnt red as our base. This rich color lays the foundation for a vibrant piece, setting the stage for further detailing. Don't worry if some of the paint gets on the fur, we'll cover that area later. It's all part of the process, and every step brings us closer to the final look. We then lighten the cloak with a mix of 30% burnt red and 70% scarlet blood, focusing on the raised folds. This step begins to define the cloak's texture and volume, adding life to our miniature. We now want to add khaki for all the rims of the clothing. This is the king of all dwarves after all, and it's important that his clothes make him look like so. For the fur, we start with the base of matte brown, ensuring depth and realistic shadow effects that we will build upon with subsequent layers. For the fur's highlights, we will use the dry brush technique. Make sure you remove almost all paint from your brush using a dry paper towel and then lightly brushing over the fur. Be very gentle and build the highlights slowly. Pro tip: before painting the skin, let's work on the eyes. We will first paint the inner parts, that way, even if we're not very precise, we'll be able to fix this with the darkest skin tone that will come after this. Now, with the very tip of the brush, let's paint the pupil with black, making sure it's in the desired position. If we're not happy with the result, just repaint the whole eye with white and try again until you're happy with it. We will start painting the skin from its darkest shade to establish a more natural color scheme. The base color is Catachan flesh, laying the foundation for a rich and lifelike skin tone. For the final highlights on the highest points, we mix 70% basic skin tone with 30% luminous flesh. This combination brings out the skin's natural glow, emphasizing the peaks with a touch of radiance. Let's now use gray for the base layer of the beard, cleaning up any excess from the skin tones. When highlighting the beard, we use a 50-50 mix of ivory and basalt gray. The ivory's yellowish tone adds warmth, making the beard stand out more than if it were just white. Keep adding more and more white to the mix, as you paint more layers of the highlights to make a nice transition between the lights and shadows. Turning our attention to the diamonds, we outline them with blue. This initial layer sets the stage for the gem's reflective qualities. Lastly, we add highlights with a 50-50 mix of ivory and blue on the edges. This technique emphasizes the diamond's brilliance and hardness, bringing out miniature's details to life. We now start painting the golden elements of the miniature, using copper for the base color. This sets the stage for the metallic details to shine through. To add more shine to the gold, we use brass, applying it to the raised areas. This step highlights the golden elements, making them stand out with a luxurious gleam. For the crown's gems, we will paint them red, but to achieve a more vibrant color, we first apply a base of white. Then, we paint the gems with scarlet blood, giving them a rich, intense red hue. And that's it! Thank you for joining me in this tutorial. I hope it inspires you to explore the rich possibilities of miniature painting. Please share your creations and experiences. Let's learn and grow together in this artful journey. Make sure you like the video and share it around. And I'll see you in the next video painting tutorial.